Hello YouTube, I'm back again, and this time I'm doing a video on how to color your hair at home and save some money. The color at the salons are really expensive, and it's nice to be pampered, don't get me wrong, but if your money is tight, like pretty much everybody's is these days, it is so much easier and cheaper to go to, say, Walmart or one of the big box stores, or even a drugstore, and get a pack of hair dye for like as low as $5. I've actually found them for $5 and just under. I have a box here due for a dye job. My gray is starting to show. And I thought I'd do a simple video just to show you how easy it is, because some people, if they haven't done it before, they get a little worried. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. You can. I've been doing it for years. Along the way, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks I've gathered over those years. One of which is try to stay within 2 shades of what you are. That's gonna guarantee your best results, because you're not changing it that much that it's gonna do funky color things to your hair. I have here a dark brown. My normal hair color is a medium mousy brown, so dark brown isn't that far off. There are color panels on the boxes, so you can check with what you are and what it'll give you for a result. This one is permanent. You can get semi-permanent that'll last 16 to 24 washes and so on. So if you want to try something, that's the way to go first. Because permanent is, yes, permanent. It has to grow out. So, and black is, if you're not black hair already, black is a bad color to go permanent with if you're not sure. Because there really is a growing out part, and that can get awkward. So in the box, you'll find a set of instructions, and they always give you these cheap little gloves mostly. There's only 1 or 2 brands that do the better gloves, but even those aren't really the best. See, these are like paper thin things, and they tear easily and they don't fit well. Usually I find the fingers are too short, so the webbing comes up in between. That's not really good for being able to maneuver. So usually these I throw out. My first tip is to go to the drugstore where you got the hair dye maybe, and look in the first aid section for vinyl gloves for dressing care, etc., for wounds. These things are awesome. You can get them in a box of like 100 for fairly cheap, and they're handy to have around for a lot of things besides dyeing your hair. They're good for like cleaning the toilet and, you know, things you don't want to touch. You just throw a pair of these on and you're good to go. But they're handy to have under the counter for hair dye too. So I prefer these, and I usually use 2 pairs per dye job, because the first one is when you apply the dye, and then you can take them off and throw them out. Put on another pair for the rinse part of things when you still could get your hands all dyed up trying to get it out. Anyway, it is always a good idea to read over the instructions that they put in with the hair dye in case they change something, or you need a refresher course if you haven't done it in a while. These I just glance over because I've done it for so many years. I pretty much have the idea down, but in case they change something, like I said, if they've changed their formula, it's good to know what they've changed and what to do about it. You use this hair dye, all hair dye, on unwashed dry hair. And if you're going to wash your hair, do it the day before. Because not only does it give your scalp time to calm down from being washed, but it gives your hair time to produce more oils that help protect it during the dyeing process. So always wash it. Like I washed it yesterday. So I'm good to go. It's fairly clean, so there's no contaminants to get in the way of the dye. And my scalp is fine. It's not red, it's not irritated, there's no sores, which you want to check for, because this is a chemical process, and if your scalp is the least bit irritated, leave it alone until it clears up, because this is going to burn. They suggest you do a strand dye test to get your time and to check for allergies. Now they suggest you do it every single time. I don't. I kind of live in the moment here, and if I do come up allergic for some reason sometime, I know what to do about it, and that's simply to wash it all out right away and stop dyeing your hair until you see a doctor. That's all you do. Anyway, so let's get on with this. There are two ways to apply. One is the roots and the other is the full head. Okay. Now, if you have the same color all the time, you're using the same dye, same color number, you know, same color, and you just want to touch up the roots, say, you would mix it up and apply it to the roots first and give it the time it says, usually I think about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. Then apply it to the rest of your hair just to refresh the color, and that will save your ends going too dark. It will save burning them out too at the ends, because you're not applying the dye for longer than it needs to be there. So anyway, I'm going to be using this as a full head application this time, because I had a little bit lighter color on it the last time, so I kind of need to do the whole head. And for today, it's easier to show you the entire head application rather than just the roots. But okay, so here we go. First thing you want to do is get your gloves on, and I would also suggest taking off rings, because they'll poke through here, you know. Why make things more complicated than they need to be? And you put your gloves on, and you start unpacking your kit. Now this is the developer bottle with its developer fluid in it. That's part one of the chemistry set. I was always good in chemistry in school. Anyway, you take the cap off and you twist off the tip like that. Okay? You always want to leave that open, because if you leave it closed as a container, once you mix this stuff, it can get volatile. Okay, the next piece is your actual dye. This is the color in cream, and verify that the number on the tube matches the box, just to be sure that nobody's messed up at the factory. I do, just as a matter of routine. You take the inside of the cap. There's a outside rather. There's a piercing pin there, and you turn it around, and you pierce that foil there that seals the color in. Now take it away from your face in case it's under pressure. Puncture. Okay, punctured. And then you squeeze it in to your developer bottle. And I work from the crimp all the way down to the end. And then you push your thumb in to squeeze the very last out of the tube. Like, get all my color in there. Because they measure this stuff, right? I mean, there's a reason they put so many ounces in it. Okay. Now, you take your, see how that's sitting there now? It's sitting on top. There's the developer and there's the color. So you want to put your one glove finger on the nozzle and just gently shake it. Doesn't need to be shaken very long. It is a small bottle, and you're getting it quite mixed just doing this. That's about as much as you need to do. See how it's all one uniform color now? You take your finger off the top and there's no explosions. You're good. See, it's not under pressure now, right? Had that been stopped up, it'd be under pressure, trust me. The other thing in the box is a Color Care conditioner that you use after you've rinsed all the color out and it's run clear. You put that conditioner in for 2 minutes, let it sit in 2 minutes and massage it in, and then you rinse that out. Now see how this is changing in color? Already, okay? It's activated, it's ready to go. You're also going to need a face cloth, dampened, that you don't care about, okay? I have a dye set. I have a towel, a dark towel that I use for dyeing. I have my face cloth, I don't care if it stains. And I have a t-shirt on that is my dye shirt. They suggest you can use a towel around your shoulders or whatever. I find this easier to just wear a shirt that I don't care, and throw it in the wash, throw it in the bottom drawer. Next time it's time to dye, throw the shirt on again. It saves you worrying about getting anything stained, and makes it so much easier and nicer to dye your hair when you don't have to care about it. Anyway, here we go. Now, I'm right-handed, so I hold the dye in my right hand, and you want to go, see how the gray's showing up now. Part of getting older, girls. Anyway, you want to go near the scalp, to the scalp, and start squeezing a line in, okay? Go about an inch over, another line of dye. Okay. You always want to start with the roots. In any case, doing a root touch-up or a full head, I always start with the roots because that's where my gray is. And gray hair can be resistant. It can be resistant to dye, so it needs a little bit more time to absorb the dye and to look nice in the end. So I always start with the roots, and And you just go inch by inch. Just keep doing that all the way along. And I always start at the crown. And go that way. Now don't worry if the dye turns really funky colors. It is simply a chemical process. And it's okay. It's going to do the color that it says on the box. Even if it goes purple while it's being applied, that doesn't mean anything. Okay? As, like I said, it's a simple chemical process to create the color that they say it's going to be on the box. Now, that's the front of the head. And you're saying, how do I get around the back? Simple. Can you wash your own hair? Can you do your own styling, make a ponytail? You can reach the back of your head. It's a little different because you can't really see it unless you have a couple of mirrors set up so you could do that, like see behind as well, which I've done before. But for the most part, you can go by feel, because when this dye hits your scalp, you can feel it's cool, it's different. You can feel that it's wet, and in that way you're going to be able to tell whether you've missed a section or not. If your hair is super long, you might get to the point where you need 2 boxes of the same dye to get enough quantity to do your entire head of hair. I've only been there once or twice in my life that I had the hair that long. Okay. And once you've expended the whole thing onto your head, and you don't save any of this, by the way, it will finish its process and it'll be useless. And as I said, it could explode, so use it up, or don't use it up, whatever, but you throw it out. You don't save this stuff. So there we go. That's empty. Now I'm going to take both hands and make sure that it's all the way through my hair, just by doing this. There we go. Now, all my hair is coated. Get the sideburns. Mine are pretty good. They're still dark, so I don't need to worry too much. But here's another tip. Immediately, dampen your washcloth. You want to do a little cleanup. Because where the dye has hit your skin, it'll dye too. You don't want dye marks on your skin. That's a dead giveaway that you dye your hair. Anyway, you do like that. Simply wipe it up. Right away. And if you don't get it all off your skin, you can use things like toners and cold creams and stuff to get it off your skin after the fact. But I like to try and clean it up as much as I can before, just to minimize what I got to deal with after. And be careful with your ears. Make sure you get all the dye off of them too. The top of the edge of your ear. And make sure behind, because again, it's where you can't see. So you want to just pass the face cloth over that to be sure you've got it all off. And just run a quick swipe around the back of your neck, below your hairline. See? Okay, now this goop sits. I usually leave it on for 40 minutes. Simply because, like I said, my gray hair is resistant to taking color, so I give it lots of time to process and do what it's got to do. Okay, I think we're good for now. I give it lots of time to process and do what it's got to do so that I get a better result in the end, because you can't go back. This is a one-time deal. And usually you got to re-dye your hair every 4 to 6 weeks. But really it depends on how fast your hair grows when you got to do it. So what I do is just watch for the grays, and when you see enough of them coming in at the hairline, time to do it again. So I'm going to leave that, and it's going to do its stuff, and I'll rinse it out when its time's up, and I'll be back to show you the rest of it. Okay, so I'll be right back as soon as it's ready. Hi, and I'm back. I rinsed all the dye out when it was time, and did my deep conditioning treatment for 2 minutes and rinsed that out. And I've got the finished result right here. It's going to look a lot better too when it dries. Hair always does somehow. There's just a couple more things I wanted to explain. On the dye package, they usually put one of the tabs has the make and the color and the number, and it makes it very easy just to rip it off of there and put it in your purse or whatever. I usually write the date on the back to let me know when I did my dye job, so that I can kind of judge where to go from there. And as far as seeing the back of your hair while you're dyeing your hair, you can take just a simple little mirror like this, and you stand and you can look. You look in the small mirror, and it'll reflect from the back mirror there, and you can see the back of your hair a lot easier. So if you're a little leery about reaching back there and making sure you get it all, that's one way to do it. And you can get these at Walmart or any of the stores really for fairly reasonable investment. And that's about it. If you see ash in the color name, Ash will help tone down any brassiness if you're going blonde, or a lighter color where your blonde highlights or something could come out. Ash will help tone that down. I have kind of reddish highlights in the summer, but using a dark brown, I'm not worried about the highlights showing really much. And another thing I just thought of is when you have gray hair, it will always be lighter than your other color on your hair. So where I had the gray, this is going to be the true color, and then because the other part was brown already, it's going to go a little bit darker brown. So it's going to cause its own little highlights. Anyway, hope this helped, and you could give it a shot. You really could, and you could save a lot of money compared to the salon. Anyway, I hope it helped, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them, and I'll do my best to answer them. And please subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos that I upload to my channel. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.